Just real quick, let everybody know. It looks like we're getting word that the host is currently changing a couple things. Ron may be setting up a new lobby. I'm not sure. So that is why we're going to stay at intermission for just a little bit longer while we sort everything out. But I promise as soon as the action gets started, we'll get rolling. Thanks for sticking with us.
Here we are, we locked down in different cities, and our virtual connection falls apart. Guess it's been too many years since California. Now the memories of us is all I have. See, one day I'm gonna reach ya, take a plane for many miles. We pretend that time didn't pass us by when we're on Mulholland Drive. I know it won't be long before dawn, gotta be patient for a while. Someday we'll look at stars in this same sky, when I'm on the other side. Take me back to the life that we once knew, when the walls weren't closing in like they are now. Cause it's been too many years since California. I wish I could get there, I don't know how. See, one day I'm gonna reach ya, take a plane for many miles. We pretend that time didn't pass us by when we're on Mulholland Drive. I know it won't be long before dawn, gotta be patient for a while. Someday we'll look at stars in the same sky, when I'm on the other side. Just take a breath and take it deep to show the world that you can see a life that's full of wonder, but it will never be enough.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into RMR Money Racing here at Daytona International Speedway. Drivers getting ready to start here. We had a couple of issues setting up the lobby, but it looks like Ron has maybe gotten it all straightened out now. I did hear word that we may end up skipping qualifying, just going straight to the race. So we'll have to see how that pans out. Yep, and that's what it looks like. You see the starter waving the checkered flag for qualifying there, and we are going to get straight into it. I'm excited. I want to thank everybody for tuning in here on Ghost Racing Network. We did have a couple races tonight, I believe. FEG had two. They just had their big one that was streamed over on OSRN. Go check them out. But it looks like we have the grid, and we'll see what the starting lineup is going to look like here. It's going to be a little bit different with no qualifying, but it looks like it's not going to have any implications for what's going to be your pole sitter tonight. It looks like Jason Maines takes pole second. His teammate Matthew Baker. Third is going to be Chad Ross. Fourth, John Mullihan. Fifth is going to be Ken McCall Jr. Sixth, looks like Dylan, I believe that's Dylan Thayer. And I believe Dylan is actually a new driver. Got in here from one of his buddies. We'll point him out when we get to him later. Ron Morris Jr., the host tonight, is going to be starting 7th. 8th is going to be James Kaufman. Michael Triscaro, one of the rookies we saw show a lot of promise last race. We'll see what he can do tonight. To his outside is going to be Joey Allen. Good to see Joey back in here. Matt Lee, 11th. 12th is going to be Nash Brambilla. 13th, Sean Hill. 14th, Jeff Merck. And rounding out the field tonight, that driver that got the guy we were talking about earlier, Dylan, is going to be Matt Carroll in 15th. Back up front, see if these guys have started to roll yet. And I'll tell you what, I actually do not even see them on track at the moment. So still not sure what's going on. This is nothing on our part. At least I don't believe. It shouldn't be. I'm going to check something real quick here. Yeah, you see them talking there. So nothing on our part here. We're just still waiting as Ron's trying to sort out a couple issues. Happens to the best of us. Do apologize, but not really anything I can do about it. Go ahead and pull the tower up here, though. And looks like, yep, now I'm getting the sign that we are gridding. You saw the little lights pop up there in the top. Still don't see. There we go. This is what we like to see. You saw it there. And the driver's now rolling off pit road. We're getting ready to get underway here. And I'll tell you what, I want to give a shout out to every single one of these guys. It is 12:46 on a Saturday morning. And we got ourselves a 15-car field. That's impressive. And I'm excited to see some good racing here. The Xfinity cars do present what a lot of guys do consider the best racing. I'll tell you what, you can really, really lock on and push for a while in these. Not quite as aggressive as we saw in the next gens last time we were here. But I know a lot of drivers like these. They do tend to get hot the quickest of all the cars. That shouldn't matter too much. Let's take a look. Normally we would just give a shout out to your pollster. We'll give a shout out to a couple of them. As it looks like even though Matthew Baker is currently ahead, Jason Maines was sitting on your pole. I think he's just coasting back for the moment. Let's take a look back some of the storylines. We're talking about Matt Carroll. I believe he might be one of the new drivers in here tonight. Tell you what, I like the look of that Toyota Supra. 61 car. We'll see what he can do. Sean Hill's in here. Jeff Merck. Good to see Jeff in here. Nash, Brambilla. Who else do we got? Michael Triscaro. Good to see him in here. Ron Morris Jr. We'll have an announcement regarding one of his races later. Make sure you stay tuned for that. We're getting ready to roll to green here. Just go over the race info real quick. You know, we're at Daytona International Speedway. Pretty sunny out. Wind not going to be a factor today. 2 miles an hour. Track temp 78 degrees Fahrenheit. It's going to be a 40-lap race. That's 100 miles. These drivers are just about ready to roll. 40-lap shootout here on a Saturday morning. If you're just joining in, thanks for sticking with it. Jason Maines leads him to the green. Matthew Baker to his outside. They're going to start dead even. You see John Mullahan. Didn't really talk about him in the grid. Trying to get to Matthew Baker's bumper. Can't quite do it. Looks like Chad Ross in the 38 car. Going to be the first one there. That's going to give the momentum to the inside for the minute. You got to wonder if Jason is thinking about hopping up to that top line. But now Matthew Baker's going to lose his help as John Mullahan's going to jump down behind his teammate, the 38, Chad Ross. Now we see the 16 on the outside starting to work up. That's Dylan. Can't quite get to Matthew Baker just yet. And that inside is really putting a gap on any driver on that outside. Now, looks like we saw a little blink there in the middle of the pack for a moment. Ooh, that gets a little dicey. They are 3 wide. They're going to sort it back out. I believe that was actually Ron Morris himself. A little bit of an internet spike there for the moment as they work their way off turn 4 for the first time, though. Jason Maines still has the lead. No move yet. He's got 2 Team 3 boys behind him. They're staying pretty content right now. A little farther back on that outside, though, we see Nash Brambilla pushing another 23 truck. It looks like that's James Kaufman. Sorry, Carr, rather. But I'll tell you what, up front, a lot of patience being shown from these top 3. I thought for sure we might see with Chad Ross and John Mullahan, both Team 3 drivers. Thought they'd be showing a little bit more aggression than they are right now. Not seeing too much right now, though. I believe these guys aren't quite going to be good on fuel either. I think it will be really close. That might be why we are seeing some of this kind of sitting in line just a little bit right now. Take a ride on board with one of these drivers towards the middle of the pack, see who we get. We are riding on board here with Matthew Baker in the 5 car, pushing Ken McCall Jr. on that outside line. Boy, they're making progress in a hurry. Just when you think they line up, here comes that outside, strong and steady. See, Matthew Baker gets real close in the corner, and he's going to link up as soon as he can, maybe even a little bit before they get out of the corner, and gives a huge push to Ken all the way down the straightaway right here. Got to be careful. Those temps will climb in a hurry. Can't see the temps, unfortunately, in the camera. But he's going to get Ken clear. We'll see if Ken decides to drop. Nope, not going to be quite clear. Have to back him up just a little bit. Jason Maines holding a nice steady wheel on that bottom line. 03, you see him peeking to the outside. Just can't quite get clear for the moment, but he is trying. See what, this is a pretty cool camera here. It looks like you see him going 3 wide right up there up top. We'll see how this is going to work out. I believe that might, yeah, that's going to be Matt Lee and the 8 car of Sean Hill. These boys are getting dicey early. Remember, Daytona not quite as wide as Talladega. You can still go 3 wide, especially with the talent these drivers had. Shouldn't be too much of an issue for them. But sometimes it can get a little bit more sketchy as we see the 23 washing up just a little bit. That's James Kaufman. Ooh, Matt Lee maybe getting a little worried about what he's seeing right there. Couldn't quite stick on the bumper, but you see the 34 Michael Triscaro. He's going to get out there, swing his weight around a little bit. Oh, there's contact. They're going to wreck in the travel. That's a hard hit for the 23. He's going to, he comes back down, collects a couple of them. The 23 hard into the inside wall. Michael Triscaro's in it. The 8 slides through it, but he's got damage. And that's the first caution of the night, and that is a huge wreck here on lap 5. Caution is just now coming out. And that amazes me that it took that long. But holy cow, let's go back and look at this one. As it collected, it looked like about half the field. Wow, that's a big wreck here to see early. Let's take a look if we can here. Let's back this up actually some more, as it looks like it's, yeah, that yellow was late. Let's see where this starts. Let's take a look first at the let's take a look at the spotter view and see if we can identify who this starts with. See the 23, James Kaufman, coming up a little bit. The 8 just maybe coming down a little bit. They made contact. They're going to come down, collect the 23, who's going to hit this outside wall really hard. Matt Lee's going to T-bone him in the process. Gets a little bit of airtime. So does the 8. They're coming back down, and this is where it's going to start collecting a bunch of them here. 61 just squeaks by. Nice job by him. 34, nowhere to go. Takes a really hard hit. That's Michael Triscaro. See the 76. Oh, Ron Morris. Oh, he's going to hit the wall really hard. Wow, actually flips the car. Holy cow, look at the 76 car go. We saw the 23 hit the wall hard. And that looks like it's going to collect about seven cars. And I'll tell you what, some of these guys are going to use the fast spare. Let's take a look, though, at Ron Morris Jr. on board, as that thing is absolutely done. Let's ride on board here. Ron Morris. It looked like that was just one of those deals, though. So hold on, let's ride first. Yep, and you saw it there. Ron is unfortunately going to have to tow it, as he's just straight up stuck upside down in that case. That is not what Ron wanted to see. I want to take one more look here to see exactly how this did start. Let's go to the 8 of Sean Hill. Let's take a look at the chopper view, actually. That should give us our best view on if who came down, who came up, what the deal was. It was a little hard to tell. It still looks like it might be a little hard to tell. We're going to switch it one more time. Here we go. So watch the 8 car on the outside and the middle car just below him, the 23 James Kaufman. See Matt Lee trying to get to the 8's bumper, and that looks like just one of those deals, one coming up, one coming a little bit down. Mark it up as a racing incident. Let's go back live, though, now. Up front now, your leader is still going to be Jason Maines. We saw start on pole. He's kept up there since. Second, it's going to be Ken McCall Jr. Third, Dylan Thayer. I believe it's Thayer. I do apologize if I'm saying it wrong. Dylan. Fourth is going to be Matt Carroll, and fifth is going to be John Mullahan. Let's give John a little shout out. We don't have it on his thing tonight, as he joined a little bit later. I unfortunately couldn't enter it in time. John, the owner of SimCar, though, they have a pretty special event coming up January 22nd. We will have more details on that, potentially some exciting news related with SimCar and Ghost Racing Network. But that is a big event. There will be a trophy over $1,000, I believe I heard, in payouts. And there will be a butt kicker unit on the line for the winner. So go get yourself registered for that. It's going to be a good one. And you probably did. We did miss it as we were taking a look at the replay. A lot of these guys did pit if they needed to. So they will be good on fuel. Now let's take a look actually at some of these guys that got really bad. Yeah, you see the 23. Ashburn Billy, he is really beat up right now. Ron Morris Jr. going to have to use the fast car. Unfortunately, though, had the tow. And I'll tell you what, he towed at the worst area. It kind of starts with as soon as you go across that start-finish line, the closer you are to it, the longer your tow time is. So the closer you are to the start of pit road, the less your tow time is. Unfortunately, he was about on the other side. You see Matt Lee, he's going to get going now. Joey Allen. Looks like Joey actually Joey Allen's the 23, so I take that back. I thought it was James Kaufman. I may have, it looks like I got messed up here. I did, so I do apologize. James Kaufman's actually the 25 tonight. Those numbers just a little mixed up. Chad Ross, another Team 3 driver up here, though. Matthew Baker. Jeff Merck. Jeff doing a pretty good job up here. Keeping himself clean. Then we saw the 61. Let's give Matt Carroll a shout out. He did a really nice job getting through that last wreck. And that puts himself in the position he's in now. He's got to be feeling pretty good about it. And I'll tell you what. I think some of these guys maybe didn't want to see that caution. They wanted to see it go green because that evens the playing field out, as it looks like we do actually have a couple guys a lap down. It looks like, yep, Joey Allen is currently a lap down. Nashman Billa 2 laps down, and unfortunately for Ron Morris, he is still in the pits. So we'll see where he can get out. If we do get a caution, though, Joey Allen can avoid it. He will get the lucky dog. 3-car Jason Maines is going to lead him to green this time. He's going to have Ken McCall Jr. to his outside. That's a little bit of a shake up there. We'll see if he can defend it. Last time we saw everybody actually abandon the outside pretty much right off the start. We're going to ride on our pit lane cam here. This ought to give everybody a pretty nice view of this restart. We'll see who can get the better push. Ken McCall Jr. is going to have the 61 of Matt Carroll. The inside is going to be Dylan. Those two might be teammates. Green flag back out. Ooh, and they got a dead even restart. Nobody gets the advantage yet. I think that outside might get the momentum on the backstretch right now. Jason Maines looking for help as quick as he's going to get it. You see it looks like Nashburn and Billa potentially in the background. They're just catching up. They work their way into turn 1, though. You see Ken McCall Jr. trying to pull to the outside. The 61 hasn't quite got to his bumper just yet. Down the backstretch here, though, we'll probably see the big run start to form. Ooh, you see the 61, he gets there. The 15, not quite. Ooh, John Mullihan has to burp the throttle to keep off of him. That's going to make it an awkward spot. Michael Triscaro's going to take him 3 wide. John Mullihan's teammate Chad Ross, though, jumps in behind him, followed by James Kaufman. Looks like Michael Triscaro is going to be able to pull up into that top lane. The 61 has now pulled dead even. We saw Ken McCall Jr. He was able to drop down in front, but take a look at his nose, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, the 61 is going to slide down right in front of him, but just before that, you kind of saw, looked like that 03 car's nose had a little bit of damage. Won't affect him in the draft, I wouldn't think, but maybe just a little bit out front. Nice move, though, from the 61 and the 03 to get themselves out in position. As you see, Jason Maines jumps right back to the outside behind Sean Hill. Wants no part of sitting in line right now. Side by side down the back, 10 laps in. Oh, you see the 61. Ken McCall Jr. is giving him all he can handle right now. He's doing a nice job of holding on to it, but the 8 car can't quite get clear as they work their way into turn 3. And I think all this side-by-side racing action. Oh, hold on just a second. You see the 8 get a little wiggly, I was going to say. All this side-by-side racing action sets us up for a Saturday morning. Crank it up. Oh, and they're wrecking hard in the trial, what it looks like. No caution yet. Again, I'm not sure what's going on with the iRacing cautions tonight. 25, James Kaufman's in it. He's actually stopped on the track. Still no caution. It finally comes out. Not sure what's up with that, but that's going to be the second caution of the night. Let's go take a look at what happened. We were in our Crank It Up segment when it actually did happen. Let's back it up here a little bit. As you see, James Kaufman still sitting on the track. And this has to be, not this wreck, but the actual caution not coming out has to be something to do with what we saw earlier with the caution not coming out. Let's take a look. Looks like it's going to be Sean Hill is going to be where this starts at. So let's take a look at the chopper view here. You see the 3. Actually, let's see if we can get a better view if we looked at the spotter cam for this one. So watch the 8 car there, the first car on that outside line. We're going to roll it real slow here. That's Sean Hill. He's got Jason Maines behind him. See, he's kind of in the middle here. He comes back up. Oh, and you see, just kind of gets a little bit of a bad bump maybe from the 3 car of Jason on that. Once he did come back up, it's going to come down here, collect his teammate, the 03, but the 03 does a nice job keeping it together, comes back up, hits the wall really hard here. It's going to collect Jason Maines, who manages to kind of net cut through, but the damage was done. There you see James Kaufman involved in it. And then they spin, hit the wall again. It looks like Chad Ross, who we saw slide through the grass, may have actually got through it. See Joey Allen arriving on the scene right here. He does a nice job of getting through it too. Nice little evasive maneuver right there at the end. I do want to take one more look here from Jason's cam, as I don't really think it was his fault. It might have been one of those things. I've had this before. The 8 car is just kind of half and half. And when he pulls up, Jason's kind of already there. Let's take a look at it from Jason's cam here. And we're going to run at live speed, so you can kind of see just how hard that decision can be for the drivers. It's not as easy as it might look like in slow-mo here. Let's take a ride. You saw it there, and I'll tell you what that looks like to me. With Sean riding a little bit low, looked like Jason was kind of on and off. Not really sure if he wanted to get to the bumpers. He knew it'd be offset. Unfortunately, looked like when Sean maybe moved it up just a little bit, that offset bump, just so slightly, you saw got him a little bit wiggly. Sean got a little bit behind on his steering. That was the result. Second caution of the night. Only 14 laps in so far, so we're not quite halfway. You see a pretty decent little group of pitters here. Go back up front. Shakes up your top 5 a bit. It's going to take Jason Maines out of it for the moment. Matt Carroll currently first. Let's give Matt a shout out. We saw him start. Actually, I believe he was the last car to start in the field. And he's worked himself all the way back up here from Rocky Falls. Really nice job right now by the driver of the 61 car, followed by John Mullahan, who's also done a nice job tonight. Matthew Baker, no surprise to see him up here. Jeff Merck fourth. And rounding out the top 5 is going to be Chad Ross. We saw do a really nice job of avoiding that last wreck. Matt Lee kind of creeping around. Haven't talked too much about Matt so far tonight. And that's a little shocking. You're not used to hearing that. Matt usually gets himself up here. We'll see if he can do it this time around. But it looks like the pace car lights are off. Going to go green this time. 61 car is going to have John Mullahan to his outside. And looks like you heard it there. The lights are back on. We are going to delay the green. So we're going to go around another time. But I'll tell you, that works out perfectly. That's going to give us a chance to give another shout out. We've talked about it, but we're going to talk about it again. Ron Morris Racing is going to host the prelude to the Daytona 500. It's hosted on February the 18th, I do believe. You can see it on the poster there. It's a little hard for me to read, but going to be one of the biggest races of the year for iRacing, sim racing in general. Huge payouts. Looks like first place $1,200. I know he did just bring on a couple new sponsors, one of those being Butt Kickers, so they will be giving away one of those units. I believe Josh Bonwell from SimCar has done a stage 1 or 2 sponsorship to throw in some extra money for the winner of that race. So it's going to be an exciting one that will be streamed over on Full Send. Unfortunately not by Ghost Racing Network, but go check them out. A lot of exciting things coming up, though, for Speed Weeks. I know FEG is having an absolutely huge payout race. I believe it's over $4,000 worth of payouts. They do have a pit stop challenge race tomorrow night as well, I think. So go check that out. That should be pretty interesting. I'll tell you what, if I wasn't going home tomorrow, I'd probably go and get in on that action. It's always cool. Sorry, we're struggling here. It's always cool. Go check some of those things out. And it looked like we were kind of talking about Ken McCall Jr., who we saw, it looked like he got tapped in that last strike, but it looked like I'm not sure if he net coded or just, I think he may have just actually done a pretty nice job of keeping it together. Didn't fall too far behind. And I'll tell you what, if you notice, it looks like the front of his car isn't damaged anymore. It wasn't too significant anyway, but I'm going to go with he probably just fixed it. I wouldn't think Ken would have used a fast repair on just that issue. But you never know. Pace car is going to pull off this time. 61's going to lead him to green. Let's ride from the spotter stand for this one. Green flag is back out. John Mullihan doesn't quite get the best restart. Neither does Jeff Merck. We'll see if he decides to drop low. Stays high for the moment. I'll tell you what, if they can hold it up there, they're going to have a ton of momentum for the backstretch. We'll see if Chad Ross can get to Matthew Baker or if Matthew Baker can do anything about it. But when you see as they work their way into turn one, watch the 12 car kind of fall onto the door of the 5 car. Get a little bit of a side draft here. You see the 38 catching up now, but it's not going to matter. This outside has a huge run. Look at Jeff Merck get on the bumper of John Mullihan. Matthew Baker has to drop off, gets the 61 a little bit out of shape. 12 car is going to get clear pretty easy here. We'll see if he decides to drop down. He does. That's going to push the 60. Jeff Merck to the lead car on the outside. Ken McCall Jr. now back up here. Oh, 61 gets wiggly. Matthew Baker on the apron. Wow, what a save from the 5 car of Matthew Baker. I thought that was surely going to be another caution. Keeps it together and going at speed. Wow, let's go take a look at that one real quick because that's going to be a highlight reel from Matthew Baker in the 5 car. Very impressive save. We'll take a look at it here from the spotter stand as it's probably the best view. You see the 61 gets on the 12 in the corner. He can't do it. Gets a checkup. Matthew Baker bumps him. Realizes he has to get out of it. That gets him on the apron. Chad Ross does a nice job checking up. That allows Baker to come up. Works that wheel. Saves it. Keeps it together. But like I said, got to give a shout out there to Chad Ross as well. As he did a nice job staying off Baker so he could save it. Nicely done, fellas. Back up front now, your new leader is Matt Lee. Followed by Ken McCall Jr., Jeff Merck to the outside, James Kaufman. Got teammate John Mullihan behind. We'll see if John lets him in. The 61 jumps back to the outside. I was about to say Matthew Baker going with him after that little bit of an incident, but he is going to drop back down low. You see a decent amount of damage actually on the back of his car, but he is still chugging right along. Let's go back to our TV camera here. Watch the push this guy gets on the backstretch. You see the inside of the car. He's pushing so hard. And they are 3 wide. I'll tell you what, Matthew Baker is on a mission. He has got Jeff Merck right in front of him, and he is going to try to push him all the way to the front. Looks like the 61. Not sure. Oh, Ken McCall Jr. up in the wall. That's another hard hit. 25 in the wall. This is going to collect a bunch of them. Caution is back out. That was a big, big wreck. You see him still wrecking back here. 61 looks like he got absolutely destroyed on the nose. Ken McCall Jr. gets rolling. Back end of his car torn up. And this is our 3rd caution tonight. Still 2 laps from halfway. Let's go back and take a look at this one. See, they're already a little out of shape here. Let's back it up a little bit. This looked like this actually started with the 03. And I'm going to take a guess before I even see what happened. I'm going to say this was a bad push in the middle of the corner. But let's take a look here. Watch this 03 car right in the middle here. Oh, actually the 16. I believe that might be Dylan. I'm not sure. Yep, 16 is Dylan. Washes up. Hits the 03. Goes up into Matthew Baker. Collects him. Then they just start wrecking. You see 25 hits the outside wall hard. Ken McCall Jr. comes back down in the field. Chad Ross nowhere to go. Wow, the 03 gets off the ground. Gets back on it. See, the damage is done for him though. See, James Kaufman going to go on the inside wall. He hits it hard. The 61 right here. That's a hard hit. See, it destroyed the front of his car. And that is going to be a couple more fast repairs. We are tearing them up tonight. But you see Ron Morris there in the background. Looks like he may have been able to stay out of it. At least avoid damage. As he's trying to work himself, get his laps back. Unfortunate break there, though, for the 03 car. Gotta think he's probably not too pleased as it looks like the 16 washed up a little bit. I know these cars do tend to drift, but you can't do that. You got to make sure you keep yourself tucked down. Excuse me. Tucked down to the yellow line, but it's part of racing sometimes. And it looks like, I believe that's Matt Carroll, who's currently in the pits. I was going to say, we had someone that was a lap down. It was Joey Allen. That's who it was. Looks like he actually got his lap back. You see him up in 5th right now. Doing a nice job. Nash Brambilla currently a lap down. It looks like Ron Morris Jr. is now also currently only 1 lap down. So both of those drivers going to be fighting for the lucky dog. Top 5, though, now going to get shaken up again. We have had a mix of lead changes tonight. Matt Lee currently 1st. John Mullihan 2nd. Dylan is going to be 3rd. We saw him kind of instigate that last wreck. Not sure if he will get an EOL for it or not. It kind of was just a racing deal. But not sure what the host decides on it. Michael Triscaro behind him. Still doing a pretty nice job. Ooh, looks like he does have some damage to the back. That's going to make him a little bit of a tricky candidate to push. But doesn't seem to be affecting him as he's staying out. And then Joey Allen, who we saw get his lap back, is currently running 5th. We have seen some aggression here on a Saturday morning. It is now 1:11. And these guys are still going at it. With it being the weekend, a lot of them get to sleep in tomorrow. Friday, always a great day for these money races. It's always good to see the community really healthy right now. Seeing a lot of money races here, almost picking up, if you will. The last month or so, I'm talking, we went from what's been maybe one race every, couple nights. It seems like now we see 3 races a night, and these guys are buying into them. They're having a blast, and that's what we're all here for at the end of the day. Good to see. Couple drivers we did not see in the field tonight. One of them being Mark Von Dell. Mark told me earlier he was taking a little break for a week or so. Mark, one of those McCall Motorsports driver. Be happy once we see Mark back out here. Always good to see him. Looks like you see the 8 car, Sean Hill. He has been in a couple incidents so far tonight. Not necessarily anything wrong on his part. Just can't seem to catch the break right now, but he's still up here fighting. Currently in that 6th position. See what you can do. You see the pace car lights off this time. They are going to go green. We are currently halfway through the race. 20 to go. Pit stops are completely out of the picture now. It is just going to be a 20-lap sprint. The man sitting in the catbird seat right now actually is going to be... Actually, it looks like John Mullihan, while on the inside, is not your leader, I don't think. I believe I think Matt Lee may have decided to take the outside in general. Gotta wonder if that damage on the rear of the 34 car is going to affect him at all. Kind of looks like he backed into a pole a little bit. But better to be on the rear, on the bumper, if you will, rather than to be on the nose. That's where the air hits first. If you're just tuning in, though, take a seat. We got 20 laps to go here in RMR Money Racing at Daytona. John Mullihan takes the green. Matt Lee doesn't quite get the restart he was hoping for. 16's got the advantage. 34 may have missed a shift. Falling pretty far back for the moment, but the 8 of Sean Hill's now made his way up there. We'll see if that 34 sticks to the outside. That 04 of Matt Lee is going to be sitting really pretty here on the backstretch. Here they come now. Matt Lee making sure they don't try move, but Sean Hill's going to. He's going to be followed by his teammate, the 03 of Ken McCall Jr. Matt Lee decides to stick the middle lane. Ooh, the outside's got 4 cars now. The momentum all to the outside. Looks like Sean Hill is going to get clear. Not going to be able to bring his teammate, though. Oh, we see a little Dyson back here. John Mullihan keeps it together. Sean Hill now drops down to the middle lane. We'll see if he decides to go low. Looks like he is going to bring Matt Lee low. That shuffles him back down to 2 lanes. John Mullihan wondering what just happened. Fell from 1st all the way back to 8th in 1 lap. That's going to make your new leader of lap 21, Sean Hill, being pushed by Matt Lee. He's got his teammate Ken McCall Jr. to the outside. Oh, we see one wrecking. That's Jeff Merck to the inside. Looks like he's going to hit the wall. Oh, no, he keeps it together. Nice save there by the 60 car of Jeff Merck as well. Oh, but he's going to go up and tag the outside wall. Maybe just a little bit too much aggression there by Jeff, bringing it back on the track. But overall, nice save here by Jeff. Hope that doesn't do too much damage. So let's take a look at what happens here. See, it looks like John Mullihan's going to come down, tag him. That gets Jeff a little loose. He's got to turn it back left hard to make sure he doesn't go up to that inside wall. Spins here, and I thought he was going to clip that inside wall hard. Does a really nice job. Boy, he just misses it. Keeps it together. You saw him when he got back up on the track there initially. Little contact. Shouldn't be anything too major. Oh, but just as we say that, looks like we're going to wreck him again. That's John Mullihan. 61's in it. No caution. John Mullihan making his way back onto the track now. Let's go back and take a look at what just happened here. These guys have had action for almost every lap. Let's take a look here at the spotter view on this one. And take a look at John Mullihan here. See him in that 12 car. We're going to run it slow. It looks like he's thinking about going 3 wide here. He's going to make a little, yep, he's going to make some contact with the 61. They kind of get together from it. They both hit that outside wall pretty hard. Come back down. Oh, and it looks like, I think that's James Coffin. Maybe netcodes through it, just a little bit of damage. You see he's going to spin down to the apron there. You see he's way off the pace now. He's probably going to have to bring this thing down pit road right here. See what he decides to do. Looks like he's actually going to try to stay out. Might be hoping for a caution. Back to the lead, though. Ken McCall Jr. now leading his teammate, Sean Hill. To the outside, Matt Lee being pushed by Chad Ross. Oh, 34 is going to get in the wall. Oh, it looks like he kept it together for the moment. Not sure if he was quite able to hold on, though. That was Michael Triscaro. It looks like he does. Another good save. We have seen some close calls here in about the last 5 laps. Not giving you a chance to catch your breath. As we were saying, though, back up front, looks like a 3-on-3 battle for the moment. Ken McCall Jr. being held out front right now by his teammate Sean Hill. But Chad Ross really trying to push the 04 of Matt Lee out to the lead. Matthew Baker hoping he can get clear so he can try to push Chad roughly, get himself a chance at this thing. 15 to go. I would say normally the race will happen with 10 to go, but we have seen side-by-side action since the drop of the green tonight. And nobody is backing off here. Oh, it looks like we have a blown engine. We do that. Sean Hill, he blew up. He spins back up the track.
All right, man,
Caution is out. He's going to collect a couple of them. It looks like Michael Triscaro. Ron Morris Jr. just got airtime. Looks like he does a pretty good job keeping it together. You could actually see that one start to happen on the backstretch. I heard it as well. Unfortunately, these guys couldn't get out of the way in time, but let's go back and take a look. And this was a classic case. Sean Hill blew that car up. The motor went. You saw that can be a result. We don't see it too often. It can happen to the best drivers. He's trying everything he can. Let's actually take a spot of you. This should give you a better hint. You see right here how the 04 is already kind of in front. So the 8, you see how tight he's running right there. He's linked up. He's doing everything he can to keep his teammate out in front. Well, watch it slow. Watch the smoke plume come out of the back of this, and this car will slow down. That is when that engine has expired, and he couldn't quite get out of the way in time. Joey Allen couldn't avoid him either. Right there, you see the smoke from the back. It blew up. 23 is going to get into the back of him. Tries to avoid it. Can't quite do it as they're just coming up on the turn. See the 08's going to go around right here. He'll slide back up the track. I think he's going to collect another one of them. Joey Allen did get by it without too much damage. 25. A little farther front. Oh, looks like he actually tagged, but maybe kept it. You see Ron Morris coming here. It looks like, oh, unfortunately does get involved in it, Ron. So close to avoiding it, but watch. You see Ron here. When he gets down to the grass, he actually gets a little bit of airtime. The 34 hard into the 76. It's going to tear up some damage. Watch this car get real light for a split second here. He's going to hit one of these bumps down in the infield. There you go. Let's go back up front, though. That is unfortunate. Tell you what, I've had it before. Usually what you can do, especially in the trucks, I'm not sure as much in these cars, but you can run it while it's red. As long as you're not keeping it red, usually what you do is if it's getting red on the straightaway, you can still cool it down in the corner, but unfortunately it looks like Sean Hill maybe ran it just a little too hard. That is going to put Matt Lee as your current leader, followed by Ken McCall Jr., Chad Ross, 3rd. 4th is going to be Matthew Baker, and 5th is going to be Dylan. Looks like, let's take a look. And it looks like, I'm assuming Sean must have had a fast spurt. Looks like he's back out here. Of course, the car itself was undamaged, but an expired engine, I believe, is somewhere around like a 45-minute repair. So it's a good thing if he did have that fast repair. Get himself back in contention up here. As we're saying, Matt Lee 1st, Ken McCall Jr. 2nd, Chad Ross 3rd, 4th, Matthew Baker, rounding up top 5, Dylan. So James Kaufman just kind of sneaked by that last track, and it's been a pretty caution-filled night. Morning, if you will, as we are at 1:20 a.m. But good racing nonetheless. Still looking to see one of those classic finishes. We still have a decent amount of cars in the field. Looks like currently Ron Morris, he may unfortunately be out. We saw him involved in a wreck earlier where he did have to use his fast repair. Involved in that one right there. Matt Carroll currently 2 laps down. You hate to see that for him. Nash Brambilla currently in the pits. This is going to be a good break, though, for John Mullihan. See him a little bit farther back. Looks like he's the last car in that outside lane right now. He was involved in that incident with the 61 car. He's also made a pretty solid recovery here. Looks like he's got himself. I just saw him somewhere. There he is, Matt Carroll. Oh, but he is unfortunately, yep, Matt's 2 laps down. Not really going to help him right now. Pace car lights are off, though. We are going to go green with 11 to go. It'll be over before you know it. We're going to take one more quick break. Be right back. Still getting ready to take the green here as these guys are working their way through turns 3 and 4. Be led to the green by Matt Lee. To his outside is going to be Ken McCall Jr. Both of those front runners have really good pushers behind him, and Chad Ross and Matthew Baker. Green flag is back out. You see Matthew Baker tries to get on the bumper. The 03 doesn't quite get the restart he wants. That's going to put the 04 and the 38 out front. But now that outside, you see him starting to form back up again. We see it time and time again. That 38 is going to have to hurry up and get back to the 04's bumper if they're going to have any chance of defending this run that's coming on the backstretch. But you see Jeff Merck jump out of line here. He's trying to look 3 wide, 25, squeezing him. Oh, into the wall goes Jeff. Keeps it together. James Kaufman kind of squeezed him into the wall. Jeff probably not too happy about that. Looks like he keeps it together, though, for the moment. Jeff was trying to go 3 wide. Looked like he had the lane. Got kind of squeezed in the wall. But you see the 8 of Sean Hill. He thought about it for a moment. Fortunately, doesn't have his teammates back here. As Ken McCall Jr., his only other teammate currently left in the field, is up front being pushed by Matthew Baker, who's trying to get him out to the front as quick as he can here. Looks like we just actually saw one of the cars fall off the pack for a minute. Oh, looks like the 8 is in the wall a little bit. Oh, he's going to come down and collects John Mullahan hard into the wall. Oh, another car hard into the wall. That looks like Joey Allen. No caution yet. You saw John Mullahan spinning on the apron. Down in the grass, is going to try to get it rolling. That car looks absolutely destroyed. He is just going to tow it. Let's go back. Look what happened on this one. This looks like it started, I believe, the 8 of Sean Hill. If we can find him real quick. Here we go. And we're going to take a look here from, look at chopper view. So you see the 8 is already 3 wide. Let's actually back it up just a little more. That outside line, you see he's kind of high right here. Just kind of gets sucked up into the wall. Actually never really touches the wall until the 12 washes up. I'm not sure if they maybe netcode a little bit. But then you see John Mullahan's going to collect the 16. Come back up. It's all hard. Sean Hill in it. Looks like Jason Maines. Wow, that looked like some really, really aggressive netcoding right there. Either way, though, Jason Maines is going to get in it right here. You see the 23 trying his best to keep it together. I think he's going to overcorrect. You see him kind of more towards the top of your screen. Yep, that's what he's going to do. You see him go back up. He's going to tag that outside wall pretty hard. Let's go back up front. Yellow flag is out. We just missed it. Another huge wreck. What is happening right now? Let's go take a look at Matthew Baker, as it looks like he was involved in this one. And let's go with TV2. It looks like they're already wrecked at this point. It looks like it might start over here. We're actually going to go to spotter view. Let's take a look here. Working their way into turn 3 right here. Looks like the 04 of Matt Lee kind of washing up a bit. No issues there, though. They keep it together. See the 03 Ken McCall Jr. riding the bottom lane. Looks like Matt Lee's going to come up. Oh, gives the 03 a push in the corner. I don't know. Is that going to work? Oh, he's pushing him again. Ken doing a nice job keeping it together. And it looks like they still keep it together. At a turn 4 here. Matthew Baker spins. Not sure what happened there either. But that's going to collect Chad Ross, who's going to come back up. Hits the wall hard. Wow. Flips up into the catch fence. Look at the airtime he gets. Holy cow. That car is toast. Michael Triscaro hits that inside wall pretty hard. Chad Ross gets hit again. It looks like. We got to go back and take a look. I am not sure what is going on tonight. It's some crazy things happen, I guess, when you try to race after 12 o'clock. I want everybody. Let's take a look first at Matthew Baker, because it didn't look like he got hit. And we know dang well he is not the kind of driver to just lose it. Let's go take a ride on board with him if we can see any indication of what might have happened. We're going to go slow on this one so we can see this hopefully kind of come around. This is Matthew Baker right here. See Matley kind of coming up. No issues here. And then just spins. And if you look at it, it looks like the kind of spin where you get hit. And there was nobody near him, so that I'm going to chalk that one down as the game again. Yeah, you see it here. No one really close to the 5 car. Oh, the 34 Michael Triscaro. That's where that net code's going to come from. Comes down, hits Chad Ross. Let's take a ride on board with Chad Ross here. This was brutal. Wow, and he's already in the air. Let's actually back it up a little bit and do full speed here. Wow. And I think Chad might be a little bit dizzy after that one. Certainly a doozy. There is some weird stuff going on tonight. But either way, let's go back up front to who's going to be the new leader here. And I'm not sure what's going on. This is a little interesting here. Let me check on a couple things. We're going to go to break. I'll be right back. All right, so I just actually talked to Ron Morris Jr., the host, and this was actually a little bit different. I got word that they actually shortened the race to 30 laps as they wanted to make sure that they would be able to finish it before the time limit run out. So I know it's a little strange, but your race winner tonight is going to be Ken McCall Jr. in the 03 car, and we got an interview with him. Ken, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Let me turn you down just a little bit. But I'll tell you what, Ken, that was one of the craziest races I've seen in a while. I don't know if this is just what happens when we do. Sorry, give me one sec. I don't know if this is just what happens when we do money racing after 12 o'clock, but it certainly looked crazy with Rex, netcode, etc. How'd you get the win tonight?
Ah, man, it was tough. Ron did a good job. He put this thing up in a hurry. We had unlimited fast repairs, so that didn't make things any better. Everybody was racing like they had 255 fast repairs, but it worked out for me. I was able to get to the front, and Baker gave me a really good push there, and got down in front of Lee and was able to hold him off.
Certainly did work out for you well. I know what you're talking about with the unlimited fast repairs, but we saw a lot of hard crashes tonight. Do you know anything about, was there any conflict throughout the fields? We saw it look like a couple incidents where drivers may have been a little upset.
I don't think so. There was a couple new guys in here that was having a hard time holding the line, but that happens when you just start out doing this stuff. You gotta learn and do a lot of practice.
It does certainly happen. Well, again, congrats, man, on the first place finish. Before we let you go, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I want to thank you for doing the broadcast and thank Ron for putting this thing on. I know it didn't go exactly the way he wanted to, but it was still a decent race for the most part. And thank my teammates out there.
Absolutely, man. That is your first place finisher, Ken McCall Jr. Thank you, Ken.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
You too. And I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, definitely interesting. Was not expecting that. But that is going to be how your race ends tonight. Unfortunately, we do not get the results with the way this all got set up. Like I said, unfortunately, nothing on Ron's fault necessarily, but kind of just a weird race all around. But still happy to see the 03 car get himself in victory lane. So that is going to wrap it up for money racing here tonight. Don't forget the Ron Morris Racing does have the prelude to the Daytona 500 coming up. FEG also has a pretty big event tomorrow night. Go get yourself in on that. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I know it's late. It's actually early in the morning, but we really appreciate you coming out. That'll be it for me tonight, the Green Ghost on Ghost Racing Network. We'll see you next time.